Welcome, everyone. I'm Natalie Foster, Director of Development and Strategic Partnerships with Mentor Virginia, and today we have Bianca Myrick with us from Pretty Purpose. She is the founder and president of the organization, and I understand, it's an organization that's about empowering young girls ages 9 to 14 in that healthy physical, social, emotional development stages. And, really a space to let them grow and glow, I think is one of your taglines. I really like that. So I wanted to see, Bianca, if you could talk a little bit more about that program, how you kind of came about with that tagline, and also, maybe who inspired you, or how did you get, inspired to develop this mentoring program?
Yeah, so growing up, I had a mentor who was really influential to me. She started mentoring me through a program in my elementary school, and I actually still keep in contact with her to this day. So when I became a public school teacher, I just noticed that there were so many girls that had so many different social and emotional needs. And a lot of times it's not always able to meet those needs inside the classroom. So I thought that I would start something. It started with a small group of girls, and as the years progressed, we kind of progressed into a larger program. So I think definitely my personal experiences and also my experience as a school teacher.
Great. And so tell me a little bit more about the area that you're servicing. Is it one elementary school? What city are you in? Thoughts for developing further out with the program?
Absolutely. So we're located in Petersburg, Virginia, which is the Central Virginia region. So we have 4 sites right now. We have 2 elementary school sites. Those are after-school programs, and then we have 2 community-based sites. One is located in Petersburg, and it serves naturally girls in Petersburg and the surrounding areas like South Chesterfield, Prince George, Dinwiddie, Hopewell. And then we also started a site in Sussex, Virginia, which is about 30 minutes south of Petersburg. It's a pretty rural area. So right now we're conducting programs across 4 sites.
Oh, wow. That does sound like a lot of growth and a lot of potential there for young women in the area. So can you tell me a little bit before the pandemic, how your program was structured? What did the mentor model look like, and how you were operating in that space?
Right. So we use a group mentoring model. Our girls meet at their particular site either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. They meet for 2 hours. And they have that emotional and social support, the guidance of the mentors. They do structured lessons that may revolve around bullying, peer pressure. We do health and physical fitness, leadership development, community service. They take arts and cultural-based field trips. So a typical session, the girls, when they come in, they have a healthy snack. They do an icebreaker, team builder, and then they will move into whatever lesson is set for the night, and then we wrap it up with reflection sharing. And throughout the session, like I said, they're able to receive that guidance and support from mentors. So before the pandemic, that's how we were conducting things. And like I said, they also do field trips. But after the pandemic, we definitely had to shift some things because we weren't able to physically meet.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think our audience is kind of curious about how you were able to realign things. Did you come together as a board, you as the leader? What resources did you have? It seems like as one of the mentoring programs, you've done a great job of just pivoting and creating a new e-mentoring model. So if you could tell us a little bit more about that in the process.
Yeah, so I think it was mid-March when our governor made the announcement that schools would be closed. So we had to immediately stop meeting. We didn't get any closure right there. We had to immediately stop meeting. And our community-based programs had to immediately stop meeting as well due to social distancing. So what we did was we had to think on our feet. We immediately, the following week, had our parents come and pick up self-care packages for the girls that had, basically a variety of activities and things that they could use to stay engaged and just practice self-care. And during the month of April, we had our mentors to maintain contact with the girls by writing a letter and by checking in with a phone call. So during this time, the leadership team, which would be me and our 2 site coordinators, we used time to just engage with Mentor VA and look at the best practices that were set forth by the National Mentor and Resource Center. We revamped our program, and we came back and we started the virtual mentoring in May. So we kind of took like a month-long hiatus just to make sure that we could clearly execute a plan, that would benefit our girls the most.
Right. Now, do you usually do summer programming, or is this something that you're considering adding on, or now that you have the e-mentoring capacity, what's next?
So our program runs from October to June. So we are going to end at the end of June like we normally would. However, we have considered just keeping some virtual engagement through the months of July, August, and September until we start again in October, because our girls are loving the virtual engagement. We do Zoom meetings, and before we do the Zoom meeting, our parents, they come and they pick up a little package for the girls, just materials that the girls can use for our virtual session. So like one session they did yoga, and the day before our parents, they came, we provided yoga mats for the girls. And we've had very high participation. So we're considering keeping the virtual engagement going. And we're definitely in the middle of some scenario planning for the fall, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to be able to return to school or if we're still going to be in a virtual environment. So we're kind of being flexible and open.
That's great. I was wondering about, and how many matches are you supporting right now kind of in this virtual space?
Yeah, so like I said, we do group mentoring, but we have a total of 64 girls in our program. So we have. And have all of them
been participating, or what percentage have been participating?
So our average parent pickup for the materials has been sitting at about 50 girls. And as far as the Zoom calls, our average is about 30 to 40 girls.
Okay, great. So you're getting at least 50% participation in that space as well. I was going to say, as you talked a little bit about kind of the uncertainty of what things will look like as the next academic year. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what you think the needs will be for, the girls in your program as we move forward with potentially some social distancing into the next academic year.
Absolutely. So, children are social beings. We're all social beings. So I definitely see our girls just needing a lot of support socially and emotionally, a lot of skill building as far as just mental health, and just incorporating some sort of routine into their day, managing, balancing home life, and creating some sort of semblance of academic life. Really a lot of the things that we as adults are needing support with as well. Our girls have told us that they miss the meetings, the physical meetings that we have, and that they, of course, miss their school activities. So I think just that social emotional support is going to be the most important thing, and just remaining connected to people their age.
Yeah, sounds great. Like I said, to give them that. I like how you mentioned about the routine and giving them those spaces to still stay connected, though, as being so important. as we close this interview, I was thinking for those programs that are thinking about doing e-mentoring, what would your advice be to them, or what would you say?
Well, I would definitely say to engage with whoever their mentor affiliate is, because like I said, Mentor VA has done a great job with just supporting us and providing resources. I would also say keep in mind, what is the accessibility of the audience that they're trying to reach. Be creative. Don't be afraid to reach out to the parents or that audience and ask questions about what do they need, because needs are different, based on gender, based on where people live. So just being flexible and adaptable, and also being realistic. If you are using best practices and best the guidelines, that there's a lot. There are a lot of expectations. So just making sure that you pace yourself and that you're being realistic and you're constantly monitoring what you're trying to do.
Great. Yeah. Like I said, I picked up those key things, making sure they're accessible. I like that you said, kind of really checking in to be able to customize or individualize with that family to give them that personal touch, even though you're in that virtual space. Being realistic, kind of giving ourselves some grace during those periods of just trying some new things and not expecting that everything comes together at one time. And then I think the important part, like you said, the monitoring, and you guys are certainly an exemplary program. We're happy to work with you on that piece and showcase you as a successful e-mentoring program during those times. So thank you again, Bianca, for your time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having us.